everybody. This is the Mercedes Lucky Benedict show, and I am so excited to be here tonight. What? What? Did we, are y'all saying, did we not start? I hope we started. Oh, okay. I'm
I
hearing,
don't know. My lamp is not okay.
oh, okay. Yeah, I'm hearing,
Hi.
I think, Dr. Adrian, is that on your side?
Let me see if I can make it a little bit better. Here. How is that?
Well, it's,
It's
it's
not
not
okay.
you, Dr.
No,
Adrian.
no. It turned off. It turned off. I think it's one of these Casco lamps.
No, and I think we might be picking up your show that was playing earlier.
How about now?
Oh, no, I still am hearing.
Oh, you
Uh,
don't hear me? You don't hear me?
I hear you fine. I'm hearing somebody else talking, like it's in a like somebody's talking. So Stan, let me see. I don't hear it now. Okay, here we go. All right. Now I apologize to the audience. We are literally starting a brand new type of format tonight. We have been doing a different stream from a different venue, but tonight we switched. So I knew there was going to be probably some things that we needed to work through. So hey, it's all right. Let's start over. So I'm starting brand new, and I am so excited to say that I have the incredible Dr. Adrian Finkelstein. And Dr. Adrian, you can go ahead and put more light on if you want, whatever you want. It really wasn't you.
Yeah. Well, we
Yeah.
always look for God's light.
Yes, whatever you want. You look totally fine. That's totally
It's,
fine. I
yeah.
just, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the rough start,
No,
but
that's okay.
so excited to have you on tonight. Woo!
Well, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And so, if people have been watching our show, The Unseen Realm, then they know who you are from that. And I know we have a lot of followers now that are really enjoying what you're bringing to the show. I am so thankful to be a part of that. And but I want people to understand, and even myself, I want to know more about your whole life. You have an incredible, like, it's a list. It's a list, a huge list of your accomplishments and what you've done. And instead of me voicing them out, I would love for you just to share with us what you have accomplished. You've done so much. Tell us about your life.
Well, sometimes I feel like I lived uh, three lifetimes in one, but it's because I've been very curious since I was a tiny boy. I really was curious about things, so that drove me to find out about things that maybe not all people look for, but I was different. Let's put it this way. And I remember during the Second World War, I was with my parents in a shelter in the National Bank in a you know basement, and it was a very strong building, and the bombs were falling, and people were afraid. Obviously, I was scared too, but I had something that kept me uh, calm, and that was that I knew that when the bombing will stop. And I was telling people, I know when it stops, and nothing will happen. So I would count to three, and the raid, bombing raid, would stop, and people laughed at me. He says a kid, he thinks he has magic powers. But anyway, I um, I continued to do that over time, and people realized that I was correct most of the times. So they gather around me and ask me to count. I said it's not ready yet. So then I would count to three, and the rain will stop. So that happened when I was about 5. So I really don't know what happened then, but you go into school and they start programming your brain to believe in so many things that are correct and others that are not. So at that particular age, you don't know to separate things. But as I was growing up, I started to see what really uh, was working and what didn't. So,
Right.
but what attracted me the most, my curiosity, is when I looked at my parents, I saw they had white hair, so I decided to paint mine. And I told them, I told them, I'm also an actor, so I do that. I'm permitted. But anyway, I was seeing that they get white hair, and I was afraid. I knew that people that get white hair get old and die. And I didn't want my parents to die, so I said, "Hey, you're gonna die. That's not good." So, and they said, "What? Because of your white hair?" So, so as they, I I wanted very much to find something. I said, when I'll grow up, I'll find something to save your lives, not to die. And this got me to the research of my life, the research of reincarnation.
Yeah.
Um, so, uh, so the curiosity continued, and I started recording a lot of data about the possible reincarnations, and I found out that I'm not alone. That about 2 or 3 quarters of the population of the world believes in reincarnation. So um, later on, after I worked decades on that and with many hundreds of people, uh, then I decided that that's very interesting, but it's not the main thing. Reincarnation is fine. It's like an insurance that God gives us, not to believe in false, fake, beliefs that are given to us by authority figures, and we are really in the midst of them all the time and influenced by them. And one of them, I would say, probably the critical one, is that we're going to die and that's it. So I refuse to believe in that. At least I found what I wanted for my parents to stay with me, to
Mhm.
understand that they don't die when the physical body goes. Like the fingers doesn't don't go because you're clipping your fingernails, or your hair is falling, you become bald, or um, you know. So I started researching and finding mentors. One of them was Rosita Rodriguez, and an Austrian lady that was married to a Mexican guy, and she was very psychic and very spiritual. So that was in 1980. So she started teaching me things together with a bunch of other people that were interested, and um, I learned about. She was very comfortable with the idea of reincarnation. Then I related to her that some of the people that reincarnated and are in my books, they may be famous, and they say immediately, "Oh, how comes people reincarnate and they're famous?" And there are questions like that, and there are a lot of other questions that to refute the concept of
Right.
reincarnation. But so. Uh, And the thing is that everyone has a right to reincarnate, or and so besides what is the meaning of life, I think the meaning of life uh, is not there. I heard that from a friend of mine from India, that there's not such a thing as a meaning of life, but it's a modality of creating a meaning of our existence, that God gave us life. So we're creating our new beliefs that are founded on a solid ground. And one of them is the concept and the truth of reincarnation. We'd never die. The ones that don't believe in reincarnation but believe in the spirit going on, it's fine too. But like there are some people that their beliefs s- stop them from uh, accepting that. But uh, I'm completely open minded, and my main focus is how practically I can help people as a doctor, as an MD, to uh, to really be healthy and well, not just by ministering to their bodies, but to everything that they are, their being, and certainly is the body, then is the animal spirit or the child inside, and then is the conscious mind. The previous was subconscious, and the conscious mind is that part of our spirit that is the human that's made in God's image and likeness, given dominion over the whole creation and the choice between good and evil.
Mm.
And then we go higher up and we have God within. So God within made us in its image and likeness. So God never um, fades away. So, and that's why we should get rid of this most fundamental fake belief that we just grow, we suffer, we work hard, we love. We It's like a tragic comedy. Yesterday, so the childhood of Charlie Chaplin, a friend of mine in a past life. Yeah, it's a tragic comedy, but we have the option to turn it into a comedy. We are the co-creators with God.
Right.
So people don't really spend time enough there going into their beliefs and routines. But it's good to take time to walk. Like you know, I've lived a lot in this life. So I decided I have to walk because that's healthy for my body, for my brain not to shrink, and memories to fade away, and the connections. So that was demonstrated through MRIs. That happens if we are a couch potato. So I'm walking because the lower part of the body has most of our muscle mass, and that gives me the health in all the organs through walking. The father of medicine, Hippocrates, a Greek, 2,400 years ago, said walking is the best medicine because it mobilizes everything we have in our body, uh, and you know we have, as they say, mens sano in corpore sano. In other words, a sound mind in a sound body. And I pass that to my patients. I don't just give them medications. I've specialized in psychiatry because I thought that the physical is not enough. We have to know how people think, as the man thinketh, like in the Bible. This is what happens. So, with God, everything is possible. So, think divine, think the way you were created. So that's in a nutshell about myself and my life. I have a family. I love my family. Some are liberal, some are conservative, and I love them all. And they love me, including my daughter that is liberal. So she said, "Ah, Dad, I love you forever." So I don't, I don't think it's important to. To cut relationships because of political views.
Yeah.
I think we have to be united. And I remember a song that in the kindergarten,
Okay.
my teacher in Romanian, that's my native language,
Right.
taught me uh, when is one, there is not enough power to relieve, um, our needs and our pains. But when there are two, the power is increased and the enemy is defeated. So I think that's kindergarten wisdom, but it should be sometimes at political levels of so-called adults and understand that being united, being two, not one, that gives power and for the good, obviously. And I think the rest is detail.
Well, I just think it's amazing that they were teaching you a song with that profound in kindergarten. It's like amazing. I wonder what the do you know the melody? Do you remember the
Yeah,
melody?
yeah. When când e unul nu-i putere, la nevoi și la durere, când sunt doi puterea crește și dușmanul nu sporește.
That's great. Oh my gosh. And you know what, Dr. Adrian, that is similar to the prayer, with God, where you bring in where one or more are joined together. I mean, it's like so they were literally teaching you that, and singing that with you. I think that's amazing. I think your life has been blessed. I mean, the story about you, I mean, just being bombed with your family. I have never had to experience that, and I never want to experience that. And that's why I prayed so much for this world to heal, because we don't want that anymore. I mean, didn't we learn enough? Like your family, you had to go through that. I mean, we don't, people are going through that right now. We don't have to do that. And so I think people like you, Dr. Adrian, are, if people, hello, people out there that are listening, just tune in to go to his Facebook page. I don't know, are you on Instagram too, or any of those other ones? Or are you just Facebook?
I'm on Instagram, but I don't go there often. I go in the Facebook and the Twitter. I mean
Okay.
X now X.
X, yeah. So, well, I have. I'm supposed to be on all those, but I mainly focus on Facebook. But now they've got it to where you can do Facebook and it could go to Instagram or all those. Makes it easier. But I think every single post that you post is a healing post. It's a positive post. And I think about what you're doing and I think, boy, Mercedes, you really should probably be more like Dr. Adrian, because sometimes I don't post always positive. And so I really like that you do that. I think it's very helpful. It always makes me happy when I see your post.
Oh, I'm so glad. And I looked at your videos and all this, and I was very impressed the other day. I because you know I always looked in life for, like my friend from the afterlife, Charlie. I was looking for the funny bone, and you seem to have it so well developed, and and that is good. That saves the world.
Well, I mean, if we've been given chances to keep going and not die, which I've had that 3 times or so, it just changes your way of everything's not the way, like, okay, so like you're an actor, you've done acting, and you've actually channeled, well, I'll let you tell it, but we have a connection because for the longest time, I absolutely loved Marilyn Monroe. And when I was acting in Dallas, I spent, well, I spent over a decade as a Marilyn Monroe impersonator. I mean, like 15 years of my life, I would do these shows as Marilyn. I did Bus Stop. I loved her. I mean, I felt like I stepped into her, and it was very important to me. And I did let I have let it, when the accidents happen to me, and I almost died both two times. I almost died, but
Mm.
when it all changed, my life changed, right? And like I realized how much I really was not about others. I was really very self motivated. And I mean, I think a lot of actors are. I mean, because you have to become characters, you have to become all these people. And I believe that I literally would channel them. Now I realized what I was doing because I could channel, when I began this, after the car accidents, I started to channel. And so obviously I was literally channeling things. So do I want to do that now? I'm much more cautious if anything does happen. I could do that, but I don't want to kind of get off on me again. But I do want you to talk about the movie that you did, the book you wrote. I mean, you've written several books, a lot of books, and you've done a lot of movie and television work. Could you talk about that a little bit? I would love people to know that.
Sure. My first debut into this area and getting into IMDb Pro and all this, and uh, was when one day I got a telephone call from Toronto, Canada, from a famous singer, Sherry Lee Laird, that was on the top of the charts, number one of 10 at the time, with No Ordinary Love. So she called me and she confessed to me sincerely that she was haunted by um having lived as Marilyn Monroe in another life. And certainly I was open as usually, but skeptical.
Mhm.
And because I got a lot of calls like that from a lot of people that they felt after that they are Marilyn Monroe. So, but she was so sincere, and I had a feeling like I had in that shelter in the Second World War, and the bombs were falling, that she's truthful, and so I started doing research. It took me on and off about 8 years,
Okay.
and because I wanted to know with enough data that this is something objective. Being a physician, being a scientist, also, I wanted to convince myself with some tangible proof.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so one of the tangible proofs before her was with somebody that I know very close, but I cannot not
Right.
entitled to say the name. But she was a 6-year-old girl, and uh, I asked the parents if because she had some problems, some nightmares, if I can try to see if this comes from a previous life, because in this life she didn't seem to have many problems. So, so she had very good parents that loved her, and everything was fine. So she went under trance, asking her just to relax. But it wasn't hypnosis, really. It was an altered state of consciousness, I believe. But she went back, and I don't know, all of a sudden I tell her, where are you? She says, in Tala. And I said, what is Tala? Oh, Tala, you don't know where it's Tala. I know I don't. So Tala, it's a place. Where is that? In what country? That's in Mexico. And she was Jewish, by the way.
Oh,
And I said, well, in the what are you doing in Mexico? Are you Jewish? No, I'm Catholic. So I said, well, I'm doing charo. And I said, what is charo? She said, you don't know what is charo. So to make a long story short, uh, charo is a race of horse race for women in Jalisco, Mexico. It's a traditional race. Uh, yeah, it was in the last century. I mean, in the 19th century.
Oh,
So, so anyway,
I
uh,
thought it was the music singer Charo. That really.
yeah, that too. But it was Charo. Charo was the Spanish name for that race of horses for women, and she was on a horse, and what are you now, and how old are you? And she says 24. And I said, how are you 24? You're 6. And she says, no. I said, what's your name? He says, Paula. Well, in English, we don't say Paula. We say Paula, right?
Right.
So a 6-year-old that was born in this country, Jewish, but American Jewish, she's telling me that she's Paula. That already shook me. And then I said, well, and what is your last name? What is your family name? What is your father's name? She said, my last name is, my family is, my family name is Agapito.
Hmm.
So Agapito, no, no, I'm sorry, Liborio. Agapito was the name, the first name of the father. So, um, so then I said I'm going to Mexico with some people, some friends. It's my wife, or I, I went with my wife there in Tala, and I met the Presidente Municipal. Uh, and he invited us to his house and gave us ponche. Anyway, I didn't want to say about the reincarnation because some people may think you're crazy. So I said, well, we're looking for a
Oh,
relative that passed away here, and we wanted to see if her name is here. And she told me, by the way, under her altered state of consciousness, that her birthday was January 4th, 1862.
okay.
And when you start reincarnations research with a patient, and you put that patient in an altered state of consciousness, whether hypnosis or not, then the first thing they do, they don't start with the beginning of their life. They start with the end. So she started when she was 24. In other words, 24 years after 1862.
Mm,
And she
very.
said, I'm on a horse close to a lake. And I says, what is this lake? What's name the name of the lake? She says Lake Chapala. And there is a Lake Chapala. But she didn't say Chapala, she said Chapara. But anyway, that was what she got me. And then I said, "What's happening to you?" I'm racing. I'm going now for the races, and what's happening to you? Oh, I'm falling. I'm falling. And she fell, and then what happened? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm. This is the way she died. So they start with the end, with the death, and they go backward, rewind to tell the rest, how she prepared tequila, home tequila, and things like that, that a 6-year-old Jewish American girl doesn't know.
Right. Wow. And when you were, did you happen to find out if
Yeah, we went with the Presidente Municipal to the only church in town. And the church in town, he showed me how it looked at the time of Paula Liborio. It was flat on the top.
right?
But now they built something. It was a cross in the Spitz, you know. It was different. And I said, "How comes?" And he said, "Well, look at the old picture. It was flat, as Paula told you."
Oh, Wow. So I mean, like, so, and that did her
Yeah,
name, was anybody able to find the name?
yeah. So we went to that church, and then the baptismal certificate, and the page appears in my book. I have here a book. This is my first book on reincarnation. I thought to keep it on the surface to show it to
Wow. Okay. Wow.
you. So I saw that the church was certainly here. I think I have it here somewhere. Uh,
I
look,
mean,
look, this was flat here, flat, and here is different today.
wow. Oh my goodness.
So, and the birth certificate on this girl um, showed that she was born. She said, "I'm not finding right now," but anyway, I'll tell you. It's just a second. I
I
may.
gotta get your
Okay,
book. I've
yeah,
been meaning
I got it.
to. Definitely gotta.
Okay. Sierra de Lake Chapala that she told me about. I took a photograph. She told me how they build houses. They build from like this, and she described exactly a lot of things I saw in the Museum of Guadalajara, and the date of birth in the certificate, baptismal certificate, was Paula Liborio, born to Agapito Liborio, uh, January 4th, 1862.
1962.
Let me see if I have it here.
So,
Uh,
Dr. Adrian, after
yeah,
you got all that information and did this and went there and found that, did you ever have another session with this little girl? Oh my goodness.
okay. Here is in the handwriting original, and it's here at the bottom of the page, Paula Liborio, and here the priest there typed for us because it's, to see clearly what is there.
Wow.
And it
And that's
says
her
Paula
first
Liborio,
time?
born January 4th, 1862, uh, born to Agapito Liborio, her father.
Wow.
Anyway, so then I returned and I published the book, and it was controversial because people didn't believe, and oh yeah, I know. So, but coming back to Shirley Lee Laird, aka Marilyn Monroe, I did a lot of research on her, and that was very um, enlightening. I couldn't sleep at night more than 3 or 4 hours. I usually sleep more, but because it kept me the energy, kept
Yeah.
me going. And she was a very intelligent lady.
Yeah.
Um, Probably she had an IQ like Einstein, but
Yeah.
anyway, she was very good. And um, I went with her to places, to Niagara Falls. We were invited by the top TV networks. We appeared on the first page of Los Angeles Times. It was interesting. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, BBC, you name it. Boston Globe, Sunday Telegraph in UK, and etc., etc., etc. So that give the case sort of so wings to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way it started, and but I think I think that that was after I published the book,
Right.
Marilyn Monroe Returns, the healing of a soul, and she was healed at the time because she wouldn't kill herself anymore. Uh, the people in the BBC, you know, uh, they came, and one of them, Robert, he wanted to see. how I hypnotized her and everything. And she was crying when JFK left her, and she was really so convincing in the way she came across. Um, you know,
So this is the
trouble,
girl.
a troubled psyche seeking relief, not notoriety.
Okay, so this was the person that had reached out to you and said that she felt as if she was in the past life as Marilyn. And so then this is kind of like you had filmed. Did you film some of her and film this, and then it turned? It is that how you did that? You filmed her doing
Well,
that.
I used many methods, but basically, I used past life regression uh, research and therapy with her. And then I use the synchronicities, like for instance, things that happen at the same time, and you say, "Oh wow, it's just like a sign." It
Right.
cannot happen at the same time, but it happens. These are synchronicities, and then I use the FBI facial recognition and
Wow.
iris recognition I want to do, but it was very difficult at the time. They didn't do it so routinely as they do it nowadays. But
Right.
the facial recognition seemed to be proving with 1% margin of error, which makes it statistically plausible because it's 5%, maximum, and 1% margin of error is most probably the reincarnation of this famous actress. But certainly, there are some people that no matter what you prove to them, they go with their fixed belief. And when you believe, no explanation is necessary. When you don't, no explanation is possible, as they say.
Well, I definitely believe that. I mean, I studied her. I studied her too, and I absolutely loved her. And I could see where her soul was. There's something very special about her and her leaving and her lineage and why she died at that moment. And it's so there's so many things about it. But I mean, I think. I mean, if all the people in the world, I would pray and wish for that she could find peace, because I think that she was so many things were happening, there's so much going on. It would you just wanted her to be happy, I
Yeah,
mean,
I shouted at her under hypnosis with the people from the BBC there present. I shouted at her. She said, "I'll die by 50. I know that I'll do the same thing like I did before. I, uh, I'm going to die. I'm not going to." And I said, "You're not going to die. You're going to live. Promise me." So she promised me. They didn't film that, but, they obviously cut that. But,
right,
but that's what I did. So, and now it was my birthday just a few days ago, as you know, your birthday too.
yeah.
So I all of a sudden I get after a long time an email from her, and she's you know she's wishing me a very happy birthday.
Oh, that is so nice. And did she make it past a certain year?
I s Oh yeah, she's now over 50.
There you go.
When she came to me, she was 36.
Oh, think and that was 36 is when
And that
Marilyn.
was the time when Marilyn Monroe passed away, by the way.
Right. Right.
Another
Oh,
synchronicity.
wow. So obviously she made it past the time she thought she wouldn't have made
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, so you saved us a life. I mean, people could say, oh, that may not be real or whatever, but it's so intertwining, isn't it? Like what you did was kind of reach through time and space and bring out a healing in this person for sure. And I'm sure helped the spirit of Marilyn Monroe.
Right,
You know?
right. So
What?
I don't know. It's Uh, we had some issues after that because she had some issues with her mental health to begin with in the beginning, and uh, but uh, but she didn't try anymore to commit suicide, and this is what the representative from BBC noted. At least that is what occurred as a result of my work with her.
Very good. Well, and so this work turned into a movie. Am I right, or something?
Right, right,
Right.
yeah. You know, I think it's complicated because there are many movies that are made nowadays, and sometimes I spend time looking for one, a good one. Yesterday I saw a good one about Charlie Chaplin. I believe it was in Amazon, but he's young Charlie Chaplin. So and he had a mother that had a mental illness, and but she was an actress too. And in the previous life of mine, uh, because people got to know me because of Marilyn Monroe, she is so notorious. So she brought me to notoriety at times, and I was contacted by many that thought that they are Marilyn Monroe or they wanted to be regressed. One of them was Jane Seymour that wanted to make a movie about yesterday's children. I don't know if you saw that movie, but
Oh.
it's an authentic one, and the people from the past life participated in this life in the Merv Griffin shows. Here, based on a true story of a lady that had visions that she lived in Ireland, and she had 5 children, and she died uh, giving birth to the last child, and uh, she was a young woman of 42, and she met with the 5 children in Merv Griffin show, and they were in the 70s. So the children, but in the beginning, the children didn't believe her. They thought she's crazy, but eventually she knew everything about them, and she could tell them about what they played with, where they placed them, what they did. So they saw that she's for real.
Oh my God. Now, were you part of that movie? Were you?
Yeah, I appear in the cast as the one that I was the consultant, and they put a priest instead of a doctor, psychiatrist there because that is more acceptable. So they showed how she's put under trance and things and hypnosis, but you can see it. This was in 1999 when I did the work with Jane Seymour, and then it was her movie came in year 2000 and aired in NBC
I
on
loved.
October 15th, I believe.
I'm gonna look for that. I've never seen that. I love Jane Seymour. I just love. I love.
Oh, that's a very good, very, very good movie to see that I would recommend to everyone that doesn't believe in reincarnation and also the ones that do. Once I asked a great person that was a priest before, and then he became a very phenomenal psychic to Sheila MacLaine. That, by the way, I visited too, and we had some talk with her, but. She used hypnosis for other reasons. That she was going to Atlantic City to dance, and she had a backache, so I helped her with that. But anyway, she doesn't mind for me to say that. But I
I love Shirley MacLaine.
yeah. So she invited me to her house, and on the patio I could see on the cement, and inscripted in the cement the letters reading "Aliens Welcome."
Oh, That was her house.
Yeah.
I've heard you say
But she
that.
believed in my books. She read my first two books, these two books, Your Past Lives and the Healing Process, and The Psychiatrist's Search for God. She, you know,
And those are your two books. Do you have another book?
oh, I have here, just a second,
Okay.
I'll show.
Yeah, everybody just bear with us. We're on this this is the new way to do things. The right now and there's talk, all on the platforms I watch on
Well,
YouTube. But
I
this is the
have a
way we
few
do it
books, but I
live.
don't have all the books here, but I have this Marilyn Monroe Returns, The Healing of a Soul,
There you go. Yeah.
and I have uh, this
Now.
book about myself and Jean Harlow reincarnated. I
Oh,
was her husband, and she's with me right now. She's here, Valerie, and here. Here is me and her before. And if you look into my Facebook at, in the beginning, you'll see me and her before and now. And Daryl Rooney that did the Lion King 2, the cartoon, he took a picture of us in Hollywood at the same place of me and Valerie, and a picture of Paul Byrne. I was Paul Byrne before, and Jean Harlow. That was the first platinum blonde of Hollywood.
I love Jean Harlow.
Yeah, so she's here. She's here.
Wow,
But
and she died.
anyway,
So you were in a past life her husband,
yeah,
Paul. Now she died early too.
she died at 26, and I died at 42 from a gunshot to my head. That they thought that um, you know somebody did it to me, or no. They classified it as a suicide, but I wasn't a suicide. I wasn't depressed. Not, I never had this problem. As it resulted in a past life regression that we did, me and her, in the same hotel room by a, psychologist that was specialized in doing past life regression. And
Okay.
we had the uncommon situation in a past life regression when when we are here and we talk together, me and Valerie, as Paul and Jean.
Oh my gosh, you know what? This would be this would be a there's another couple. I cannot think of their names right now, but the woman would channel and her husband, you might this very famous. The woman, she had dark hair, she would channel and the husband would write it down and they created many books. So I cannot think of who it is, but I mean I studied all that. I
Yeah,
studied it.
yeah,
But that is fascinating. And so I'm looking at our clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, we are ticking down. But I hope I want you to come back, Dr. Adrian, because I want you to talk about well, another thing I absolutely love is the psychic surgery. And you know about that. I know about that. It's hard for me to hold my tongue quiet during the unseen realm because I want to go, I know, but I can't, that's not my job.
yeah, yeah,
I think that what I love about the opportunity for the unseen realm for you and everybody, and I don't think people quite get this yet. As we are growing, they are, but it looks like in a box that we may be just one way and one philosophy because it seems like when you look at it, it might be too scary. But I really don't believe the unseen realm is a scary show. I mean, you bring this amazing scientific psychiatrist data but you also bring in this amazing life you've lived and the other aspects of past lives and but you blend it so well, Dr. Adrian, how you blend in because it's like basically love. You're like totally amazing on the unseen realm. So I hope people will that really love you will realize and start kind of veering over just to make sure people that actually love your work, they may think the unseen realm might be too scary for them because it's all about demonic, right? But it's really not, is it? It's more of a
No.
psychological aspect, isn't it?
Right, right. I personally look at it. I respect the people in and the crew and everything. And what they believe in and how they present it, and I see what binds me to people, not what separates me. And what binds me to this show, the unseen realm, are the people that are phenomenal people that want to do good to the world.
Yeah.
And I want to do the same thing. That's why I write thousands of blogs on the Facebook that are usually positive, and in order to lift up people and to see that they are one. We're all one in this world, and we shouldn't hate each other. We should love each other, and we should see that what God created for us uh, to give us the most joy after it created everything in us is love. Because love gives the most joy, the way God made it in its master plan.
Yeah.
So we derive from love the most joys, and that's what unites us the best. And with God, that is a loving God.
Right. And so it's really great. So the people, what would you say to people that they are just not there, like where they haven't experienced, maybe they haven't experienced love or something, maybe if they haven't experienced it, they don't know how to just step into that. Or we talk about this on the show, but not this much. But do you think that there could be a covering on people, like a way to stop them from, like a shield to stop them from seeing that we could just be one? Do you think there is a block?
Well, well, I think there are so many signs that God is giving us. I may be one of them. You are obviously one of them, and there are others. The unseen realm is one tremendous one of them, and people need to look at signs that God gives, and we have elections. That's a sign to what we're going to do. I put a blog there and I said, uh, you know, humanity is mirroring on the map of the United States of America.
Mm,
And uh, is human made in God's image and likeness? Question mark. This is what they see in this mirror. And then God came and said, yes.
right.
Now, I don't know, I'm not politically implying anything, but I didn't know what's going to happen. We don't know, but we have to be united, like me and my daughter. My daughter is very liberal, I'm very conservative.
Right.
I'm not very conservative, I'm conservative, but she's liberal. So, and she wrote to me for my birthday too, like Sherry Lee Laird. And she said, Dad, I'm going to love you always.
Mm,
Because I told her the same thing. Nothing can break us. I hear like Jesse Waters says that his family would not invite him for
oh,
Thanksgiving because
yeah.
he is more conservative and they are not. So I guess these are silly things. I think we just have to be united, like I said in the beginning of your show. When I was in kindergarten, I learned some kindergarten wisdom. When we're one, we're not very powerful to overcome problems, but when we're two, we certainly, with God's help, we succeed.
Right. That's so beautiful. It's a beautiful way to kind of start it and to end the show. Thank you. Before we end the show, you have something amazing. You're about to do an event where you're going to be a speaker. Uh,
Yes.
could you talk about that What when the
Oh, regretfully, it was to be on the 21st of the month, but the technician cannot make it. So
oh
you are one of the technicians. I have a technician there. You always make it. Well, but they will call me. It'll be either in the end of this month, or it'll be sometime in December, or the beginning of January, depending on the technical part, you know. But
yeah,
they invited me already 3 times there over the years for the same.
it sounds like it's a big event. So it's is it in California?
It's in at the Cedar Sinai Medical Center. People probably heard about it. It's considered to be a nice place, but it's. I've been there on the staff as a doctor for 34 years.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now.
So
So
I'm
that's
going to talk in
it's a big.
front of
You're humble.
hundreds, maybe
It's a big
hundreds, or
deal.
maybe a few doctors. I don't know. It happened
Yeah,
before that there were a lot of people. I don't know if there will be again, but I know one thing that it's very enlightening and to see that people that are usually scientists and they deny these things, they get now into integral medicine or integrative medicine, as they call it, or holistic medicine
yes,
in so many top centers, medical centers in the nation,
yeah,
and that's very encouraging that people are sort of opening their eyes and their ears to really understand the truths of what can save humanity now that we live in an era that it can be distracted in no time. We have to really use love for each other to understand we have two parents, Mother, Father, God, and we are all children of God, and we should be good siblings to each other, love each other.
yeah. Very good. And I just think that's going to be. I think you're right because it's going to be the new thing is coming. Like holistic medicine is about to come back and break through this past time, and I think you'll be right there on the like the top of somebody that can actually speak about the intertwining realms between. There's so many things everyone on this listing or will listen. I mean, Dr. Adrian was just talking the other day that he literally you healed yourself from cancer. And I think that is a big thing that people should know about. The book probably on that too. And we didn't finish that subject, but it to me it's what I heard and what I
That was
believe.
many years ago, about 30, 40 years ago, but
Amazing.
yeah, so I'm still here, so it means something happened, but
Yeah.
I'm still here.
And I think that
I'm here,
what
back.
and it's an amazing story about your health and your health journey, and so it's 34 years ago. So a book written on that would be wonderful because it was definitely a god and a healing and all that. So I want you to come back again, and we're going to have all these different subjects. If you would love to or come back, I would sure love that you did.
Glad
We could,
to to be with you, and thank you for having me.
you're welcome.
It was a joy to talk about very important subjects, not just for us, but for other people that may be helped
Yeah.
by what we're talking about, and
I,
then this show will be successful.
yeah, I mean it's just a joy to do this work. So for me personally, I believe, I've seen people in past. I mean, I've worked with this, so it's something that I did question once I had the deliverances and started going that route where I saw Jesus and God really coming in, and so I really had to like redo my whole life and really questioned what is what could this be or was it that. So that's a whole different story. But I feel as if I found a balance and I have a deep understanding of all of it, even more so now than I did a few years back. So with that said, I want to say thank you to everybody that is watching the show now. and those that will be watching in the future. We apologize for the beginning part, which is a little rough. Hopefully that will never happen again and it'll all just go smooth. But we do apologize for the beginning part, just restarting there. And hey, we enjoyed having you here, Dr. Adrian Finkelstein.
Thank
I
you again. Thank you for having
I
me.
say we. I always think there's like God's with me. I always say we, but it's like I feel like I have a group here with me. And so thank you. And I want to tell everybody, please look him up on Facebook. All you have to do is put his name in and everything pulls up. I shared a huge list of all kinds of things on Facebook. All of his lists of credentials you can find. It's just amazing. All the books, all the movies, everything he's done, all of his work. It's out there and he is an amazing person. So please, do the research on him and reach out to him, friend him on Facebook, do all that stuff that people do on social media. Do that. And we're going to have him back again, and you will see him every Saturday. Dr. Finkelstein is on the panel of the Unseen Realm, and he is brilliant, as is everybody that is on the panel. And if you have a question for Dr. Adrian specifically, you are more than welcome to go and ask that question or type it and then get that to us, or we will ask Dr. Adrian Finkelstein these questions. And don't be afraid to ask about a past life. We're not just about a one frame of mind. He brings an opening to all kinds of questions and answers and participation. So we ask you to please check that out and visit us there. And we thank you all again. Thank you, Dr. Adrian, so much. Dr. Adrian Finkelstein. We'll have you back again. Thank you, everybody. God bless everybody. God bless you. God bless the world. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this new thing that's happening. The life is going to be so good. Thank you.